he's not vegan by his own definition. So probably not surprised to see me comment on something like this as someone who has been pro-vaccine in the past and someone who will absolutely be getting vaccinated for COVID as soon as humanly possible. I have some issues with this. The hunt for a coronavirus vaccine has been horrendous for some animals. As part of the drive to save human lives, thousands of cheeky monkeys, ferrets, cats, mice, and hamsters have been deliberately infected and experimented on in labs. This is true. There's no getting around this. To create this vaccine, and any vaccine, it involves animal testing. Hopefully there will come a day where alternatives to animal testing are accepted, but at least for now, that's just not possible. We have to live with the reality that many of the things we deal with in life have involved harm to animals. Pfizer and BioNTech, the big pharma companies behind the vaccine that caused excitement yesterday, have treated monkeys and mice with contempt. While their human researchers have been protected with elaborate PPE, the animals in their care have been trapped and deliberately infected. So I have issues with this. It is one thing to talk about animal testing and how horrific it is, particularly when it involves inconsequential things like makeup, right? Torturing bunnies and mice for lipstick or hairspray or whatever is absolutely disgusting. That's not what we're talking about here. Obviously, we are talking about something that saves lives. Speaking this way, they've treated monkeys and mice with contempt is just really gross in this context. I think it would be gross even in a makeup context. I don't think most researchers are treating these animals with contempt. I think they're doing the job they've been given and they're doing what they're supposed to do. And they probably believe that it is in the best interest of human beings to do this, right? I mean, we're able to convince ourselves and justify a lot of behaviors. So I think this is just a very childish way, even if we were talking about something inconsequential, to view human beings and the researchers involved in this. But it's particularly bad when we are talking about literally life-saving medication. I just think it's really gross to treat these people like cartoon villains, like they're just like, ha ha ha, let's kill these monkeys. Like that's the way it reads to me, which just, no, you don't know that, number one. And number two, why would you even want to think that? I mean, I guess that's the thing that gets me about a lot of people. I mean, I like to think that people who do this kind of work, they don't like it. They would rather not have to use animals in this way. They recognize that it ultimately is going to be a net positive, and so they do the job. Why you would want to see them as, again, kind of like cartoon villains is just really weird to me. I guess it's easier. For animal lovers, that creates a dilemma. In what circumstances will you turn a blind eye to animals being harmed? So you see this a lot. I've read this once through, and throughout, there's just a lot of assumptions made. A lot of the arguments are built on, again, this like, oh, they have contempt for monkeys and mice. Animal lovers who decide to get the vaccine, we are turning a blind eye to the animals being harmed. No, I don't think that's true at all. In fact, everything I've read from pro-animal and vegan sites that have said, yes, get the COVID vaccine, or we are getting the COVID vaccine, or vaccinations are good, or whatever, they acknowledge that, yes, animals are harmed in the making of these vaccines. And even the vaccines themselves contain animal parts, animal byproducts. So yeah, I haven't seen anyone like deny that. That's not true. I saw one thing that was like COVID-19 vaccine bypassed animal testing and went straight to human trials, which is not true at all. I don't know where they got that information, but that was just one random site. Every other thing I've seen from vegans, from animal rights activists, has been acknowledging that, yeah, animals are harmed. Animals have died for this vaccine. We're not turning a blind eye. We are acknowledging the reality of the situation. We're saddened by the situation, but we have to try and make the best choice, which choice has a net positive outcome. And it's pretty obvious that as many people as possible getting this vaccine is net positive. Many people think that being vegan is just about not eating meat and animal products, but it is really so much more than that. And then they share the Vegan Society definition, which many vegans go by. It's one that I go by and I share here all the time, which is very interesting because as you may know, it includes to exclude as far as is possible and practicable. So it's very interesting to me that they can read that and not see that by that definition, you can still be vegan and get vaccinated, even for COVID. In fact, if you go to Vegan Friendly, they have a very good page on vaccinations, and they use this very definition to defend vaccinations as vegan because of as far as is possible and practicable. So yes, very odd. Everyone wants to see the back of COVID-19, but as an animal lover and a vegan, should I accept a jab that's the result of animal cruelty? I say no, and not just for moral reasons. And then they talk about the cause of epidemics and pandemics, humans playing God, exploiting animals. We need to wake up. Since it was exploiting animals that got us into this mess, it's both immoral and ill-advised to exploit more animals now. No, that does not follow. It doesn't matter what got us into this mess, whether it was just something completely outside of our control or it was due to exploitation of animals. That in and of itself does not make it immoral to then exploit more animals to create a vaccine. Either the action is immoral or it's not. It doesn't matter what came before it. Here's some more interesting reasoning, and by interesting, I mean nope. Bad. It is supreme human arrogance to think that we can inflict this torture on animals in labs and slaughterhouses without it coming back to bite us. This year, we saw again that it does. No, because karma does not exist. I mean, this is essentially karma, that you do something bad, so something bad's going to happen to you. Unfortunately, that's not the way the world works. Not everyone gets their comeuppance. Now, I think what you could say is that it's supreme human arrogance to think that we can put animals into filthy conditions and fill our planet with these animals in these filthy conditions and not think that some sort of horrible health outcome for humans it isn't going to result from that. I think that is supreme human arrogance and idiocy, but that's not karmic justice. That's just science. We would expect to see pandemics as a result of all this filth and being in close contact, having so many humans in close contact with these sick animals. You might argue that the coronavirus pandemic is so serious that in just this exceptional case, it is okay to exploit animals for the greater good. Yes, but the just this once argument never ends. Countless meat eaters say they know it's wrong to eat meat, and they have even started to eat a bit less. Well, what comfort is that to the animals they do eat? More than 70 billion land animals are still slaughtered each year. So first, I'm not sure what the just this once argument has to do with reducing meat consumption, unless he's arguing that that meat eaters who know it's wrong and are eating less meat are saying that it doesn't matter that they're eating meat just this once. I mean, maybe they're doing that, maybe they're not doing that. I've heard from a lot of people who want to be vegan, but they're taking things slowly or they're struggling or whatever. They're not like, oh, it's fine because I'm just having meat on a Monday or whatever. They realize that it's better than what they were doing previously, but that doesn't mean they're like, oh, this is good, actually. I don't know. Is he trying to make a slippery slope fallacy, it's just this once and then it's again and then it's again and then before you know it, you're eating more animal products, which certainly could happen. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens to people. It seems like that's what happens to a lot of ex-vegans. If you, after a while, you go and see that, oh, they're wearing leather now and they're doing, I thought it was a health issue, but now they're eating junk food that has milk in it. Okay, it does seem to maybe have that effect. Once you start eating a little bit of animal products, it's not such a huge leap to move to other ones, right? You've already done the hard part. You've already started eating meat again. But in terms of something like the vaccine for COVID-19, I don't see how that is a slippery slope argument. I don't think any vegans who are this is important are then going to start what? Oh yeah, it's fine to test makeup on bunnies? No, is there any evidence of that whatsoever? Again, all of the vegans who are saying, yes, you should get vaccinated that I've seen are supporting alternatives to animal testing. It's not like with eating meat where there are so many opportunities to convince yourself that oh yeah, I can eat that. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. And before you know it, you're just regular omnivore again, right? That makes sense. But with vaccines, it's not you're oh, well, I got the COVID vaccine. I'm just going to go get this other one and this other one and this, that's not a thing that exists. And also people generally don't like needles and don't like being vaccinated. So I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding the argument, but if that's actually what he's saying, weird. So he wraps up, I won't be accepting the vaccine. After what has been done to so many defenseless animals, it feels wrong to me. When I say it's time to stop exploiting animals, I really mean it. So again, the assumption, the implication being that the rest of us, we don't really mean it, that we don't really mind exploiting animals. We don't really want to stop exploiting animals, which is, kind of offensive, honestly. I don't like it. I don't think any of us like it. It's not like we're just like, oh yeah, the COVID vaccine, it's got animal parts in it and it's been tested on animals, whatever, I don't care. No, like, I don't like it. I wish that weren't the case. I wish we had, I wish that alternatives to animal testing were prevalent. I wish animals were no longer tested on, but I'm able to be an adult and to realize when I have to do something that does, on some level, make me sad. Mostly makes me happy that we have this vaccine and that there will be an end to this and hopefully less human lives will be lost. But there is part of me that is sad. Lots of animals lived really short, sad, painful lives to create this vaccine. But human lives matter too, and you know what? Vegan lives matter too. If we're really going to say no to COVID, which, it's not just COVID. Obviously, going by his reasoning, he would be against all vaccinations. So by his reasoning to truly care about animals, to truly want to stop animal exploitation, and to be truly vegan, no vaccines whatsoever, which sounds just great for the future of, vegans. Like, can you imagine if every single vegan and every single vegan child is not vaccinated? I think it's really important that vegans procreate. I know you guys don't like when I talk about that. It makes people uncomfortable, but I think it's really important that caring, compassionate, smart people have babies, have babies who are also smart and compassionate and caring people, and not receiving proper medical care. And look, it's not just vaccines, it's also just medication, other life-saving medicine. Like, less vegans are going to make it to adulthood if that's what it means to be vegan. And then finally, there's no way that this person, that he can be consistent with any of this, because going by his reasoning, it seems that no animal exploitation is okay. Well, then you can't do anything, because literally everything you do is exploiting animals to some degree. Do they live in a house or an apartment? Pretty sure animals were displaced in the building and the existence of that building or that apartment. Do you walk around because you're killing bugs? Do you drive a car or ride a bike? Electricity, like literally everything. He's not vegan by his own definition, which he doesn't use because he uses the Vegan Society definition. And by that definition, the COVID-19 vaccine is vegan. But okay. You can tell I'm very irritated by this type of stuff because, again, I think he's painting people. Maybe he's not meaning to, but he's painting people as either cartoon villains or just like, I'm the real vegan and they're not. They don't really care, which I really dislike. And also encouraging a practice that harms people. He's encouraging other vegans not to get vaccinated. It's incredibly dangerous and just sucks. Again, this does involve animal harm and it does suck. And there's really no way around it. So I think this is a good opportunity for what's called offsetting. I think this is a really good opportunity to, in exchange kind of for getting the vaccine, to give a little bit of money, if you have some extra money to give, to animal-focused charities, not like dogs and cats, obviously, but farm animals, or if you want to be more specific, lab animals, or even just, something like Good Food Institute that focuses on promoting, plant-based alternatives. So any sort of charity, any sort of effective organization that works to reduce animal suffering and increase the number of vegans. And now is a really good time to do that, just giving in general, because the end of the year is when all these places do their donation matching. I'll put some links in the description for those who are interested. And Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can support the channel, patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. Thank you so much. onlyfans.com/unnaturalvegan. I just post little extra videos there with my clothes on. I have an Amazon store page as well. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I should have a video hopefully soon.